Hello, my name is Flossie, and this is the Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about books. Today we are bringing you part 2 of a fabulous book haul. Hello, how are you? I hope today finds you well. It is 57 glorious degrees where I am located. Sun is shining. I don't hear any birds, but we'll take what we can get. Right now, March, mid-March, we will take what we can get. I look out my window. That sun is just shining bright, and the temperatures are very, very fair, and I am loving it. So I hope wherever you are, whatever your temps are, I hope that they are to your liking. All right, so anyways, I have a bag of books that I would like to share with you, and incidentally, in the mail, I have coming right around the end of March, a fabulous book. I cannot wait to get it. Do you ever get like so excited? I end up in booby traps when it comes to books, because one thing always leads to another. The chain of events always takes me to, I'm not going to say my final destination, but it takes me to a point where something may flourish from that, or the buck might just stop there. But in this case, I was getting ready, and I like to listen to some of my favorite booktube channels while I get ready. This was the other day. And I completed my rounds that day, and I thought, I never like to end a day without learning something. So let me just see what this is about. And I clicked on this video, which was not a booktube video. And I clicked on it, and I was, captivated, mesmerized. I had to see, did they make a book on this subject? I don't want to reveal what that subject is. Suspense is great, isn't it? I did look it up, and there were several books that were written on this subject. So I went ahead and I ordered one of the books, and I cannot wait to get it. I have so many book aspirations, like this much book aspirations, and about this much time to get to them. I need better time management skills that I can dedicate to reading. Today is fair weathered, and I should be out there walking and talking and living my best life. But I'm going to opt out of that. I know. My brain is in a book reading mood, so I'm going to stay cooped up inside, and I am going to hit the books. But anyways, enough about that. Let's discuss some of the books that I have recently purchased. The bookstore that is closest to me is a Barnes & Noble. We don't have very many independent bookstores, in our line of fire. I wish we did, but we don't. It's a tough area, and I think that's a crying shame. So anyways, Barnes & Noble is the nearest store to me, and so that's where I do my shopping mostly. And I say what you will, I love Barnes & Nobles, and they just remodeled, so all the more reason to love it. I love being inside of Barnes & Noble. I feel all fancy and special. All right. I don't know how many books that I have. I have this many. I have this many books. Which, if I can fit them all in one hand, can't be too many. So let's see what jewels and gems I am possessing. All right. The first book that I bought is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, 100 Years of Solitude. I have to get cracking on this book pronto, because over at Heather's Heroes and Heroines, they are reading this, and we are going to do a live discussion on this. There's a couple of us that are going to be discussing this book. I will post more information as we get closer to the date. I believe it's March 24th that we're going to be doing that. 100 Years of Solitude, and I picked this up specifically for that reason. It tells the story of the rise and fall, birth and death of the mythical town of Macondo through the history of Buendia family. Inventive, amusing, magnetic, sad, and alive, with unforgettable men and women, brimming with truth, compassion, and a lyrical magic that strikes the soul, this novel is a masterpiece in the art of fiction. It doesn't really tell us much, but for now, we'll go with that. And then, like I said, if you would like to learn more about this book, then you can tune into that live, and I probably will also further elaborate and do a book review, my opinion only, as to what I thought about that book and actually what the book is about. This book was purchased for a few reasons. Hiromi Kawakami, and it's translated by Ted Goosen. It's people from my neighborhood. I thought that this was very pretty, a very pretty cover. I love neighborhoods, and I love well manicured neighborhoods. I love when people take care of their property, when they plant flowers and they keep a clean sidewalk and a clean curb. There's no debris. You know, doesn't even have to be an upper class neighborhood. It could be any neighborhood, but just so long as it's well kept. I love when people take care of what they have, and it shows. So that is the reason why. And plus these like little claymation figures. They're adorbs. A bossy child who lives under a white cloth near a tree. A schoolgirl who keeps dolls' brains in a desk drawer. An old man with two shadows, one docile and one rebellious. A diplomat no one has ever seen who goes fishing at an artificial lake no one has ever heard of. These are some of the inhabitants of people from my neighborhood. Details of the local and everyday slip into accounts of duels, prophetic dreams, revolutions, and visitations from ghosts and gods. In 26, palm of the hand stories, fictions small enough to fit in the palm of one's hand and brief enough to allow for dipping in and out. Hiromi Kawakami creates a universe ruled by mystery and transformation. So that sounds super, super fun to me. The next book that I chose was The Postman Always Rings Twice by James M. Can. I sure hope I don't have this one. But something in the alcoves of my mind says, you know, either way, it was a bargain price. I wouldn't say it was a bargain. It was $16. It was buy one, get one, 50% off. So, all I know is I haven't read it. Have you read this book? I have not. It's a good, swift, violent story. An amoral young tramp, a beautiful, sullen woman with an inconvenient husband. An inconvenient husband? What is that? A problem that has only one grisly solution. A solution that only creates other problems that no one can ever solve. First published in 1934, The Postman Always Rings Twice is a classic of the Roman noir. It established James M. Cain as a major novelist with an unsparing vision of America's bleak and underside, and was acknowledged by Albert Camus as the model for The Stranger. I make no conscious effort to be tough or hard-boiled or grim or any of the things I am usually called. I merely try to write as the character would write, and I never forget that the average man has acquired a vividness of speech that goes beyond anything I could invent. So, I have no idea. No idea. But I guess it's about time I found out. Then I chose Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. I read his other book, That There, in cold blood. I read it, and I also did the YouTube version. There was a gentleman who graciously read that to me. He can read it to you too if you YouTube him. I will find his link and I will post it in my description if you have not read that and you would like to listen to it. It's a tragedy, a horrific story that happened to a good, clean-cut family, and it should never have happened. But Truman Capote, did some research on it, and he wrote a book on it. So, true crime, if you're into that. All right. In this seductive, wistful masterpiece, Truman Capote created a woman whose name has entered the American idiom and whose style is a part of the literary landscape. Holly Golightly knows that nothing bad can ever happen to you at Tiffany's. Her poignancy, wit, and naivete continue to charm. This volume also includes 3 of Capote's best-known stories, House of Flowers, A Diamond Guitar, and A Christmas Memory, which the Saturday Review called one of the most moving stories in our language. It is a tale of 2 innocents, a small boy and the old woman who is his best friend, whose sweetness contains a hard, sharp kernel of truth. Look at that hand. I have to tell you, I just read a story and, oh my goodness. In the story, it was, they spoke of a nail salon and a individual whose favorite color was red. And in an effort to cheer her up, thought, what I will order a special nail polish for this individual. And no, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to save that for the book review. Gee whiz, Floss. How could you do that to us? I should say, golly gee, Wally, how could you do that? How could you be that way? Well, my apologies, but keep tuning in and you'll find out what that nail polish color was, because if ever there was a brilliant name for a nail polish, this would be it. I'll be mentioning it really soon. The next book that I chose was Dave Eggers' The Parade. Who doesn't love a parade? After a decade of civil war, an unnamed country is at peace. To join the state's divided halves, the government orders the construction of a new highway. Two men, foreign contractors, are sent to finish the highway. While one is wild and adventurous, the other, nicknamed the Clock, wants only to do the work and go home. Blinded by their own struggles, neither sees that as their road lengthens, a greater and more terrible conflict approaches. From the best-selling author of The Circle, The Monk of Mocha, I read that one. How about you? And what is the what? Well, this is the taut, suspenseful story of the two visitors' roles in a nation's fragile peace. I paused after what is the what because I like the way that sounds. And so now my brain says, what is that? Find out what it is. Get the book. And that's how I get myself into all of this. Just one little spark, strike that match, and my brain just goes. What is the what? Has anybody read that? Now I gotta find out what's happening. All right, 2 more. All right, this was a buy one, get one, 50% off. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. It looks like that. The boy with fair hair lowered himself down the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way toward the lagoon. It does not sound like the boy with the fair hair is in a good predicament. I've never read this, so I guess, yeah. What better title for this video than books I have never read? I can't believe I made it this far in life and I have not read any of these. All right, Lord of the Flies. Few works in literature have received as much popular and critical attention as Nobel laureate William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Since its publication in 1954, it has amassed a cult following and has significantly contributed to our dystopian vision of the post-war era. I have a hard time with dystopia. When responding to the novel's dazzling power of intellectual insight, scholars and critics often invoke the works of Shakespeare, Freud, Sartre, Orwell, and Conrad. I sure hope I didn't mess that up. Golding's aim to trace the defect of society back to the defect of human nature is elegantly pursued in this gripping adventure tale about a group of British schoolboys marooned on a tropical island, alone in a world of uncharted possibilities. Devoid of adult supervision or rules, the boys attempt to forge their own society, failing, however, in the face of terror, sin, and evil. Part parable, allegory, myth, parody, political treatise, and apocalyptic vision, Lord of the Flies is perhaps the most memorable tale about the end of innocence, the darkness of man's heart. I will go there. I will take on dystopia each and every time. I will look it in the face and I will say, you are not for me, but I will always give you a chance. Then I had to buy this book because I love the cover. Stop it. Stop it with loving your covers because, sometimes the words within the book are more important than the artwork. But come on. This is by Joseph Earl Thomas. It is called Sink. Look at that. Look at that. Anyways, I love this cover. don't know why, but I do. I love the colors. I love the house. I love it. Let's find out what it might be about. He wanted so badly to do something through sheer force of will and anger. There was so much of it, just overflowing, but he had neither the know-how nor the heart to put it to good use. Stranded within a family's desperate but volatile attempts to love and demeaned daily for his perceived weakness, Joseph Earl Thomas felt like he was under constant threat. Roaches fell indifferently from ceiling to cereal bowl, as if taunting him for complaining about the fact that he was hungry. In a series of exacting and fierce vignettes, Thomas explores how a cycle of hostility permeated his environment, while illuminating a vital reprieve into geek culture. From the depths of isolation, Thomas carves out unexpected moments of joy, from the broad freedom taken in long summers to the first hints of community on his road to becoming a Pokemon master. In these arresting scenes, Sink follows Thomas's coming of age toward an understanding of what it means to lose the desire to fit in with immediate peers, family, or the world, and how good it feels to build community, love, and the work of salvation on your own terms. Sounds good to me. So anyway, they are my book picks. Would you have picked any of them? Have you already read any of them? Do you plan on reading any of them? Are they just hanging out on your TBR saying, read me, me next? Or do you not own any of them? Until my next video, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Know that I love you. Be well, be good, and be reading.